you get better at expanding your imagination? And what I want to do is share with you 2 things that you can do that'll help you dream bigger and with more clarity in a way that'll create more confidence that your dreams and vision are already happening now. The first is turning imagination into a declaration, an embodied state of being. I am an imagination factory. And the second is to get intentional about creating the time and space to live in your imagination. I call this creating an imagination session. Let's drill down on these. Number 1 is creating imagination as a state of being. And that's why I love to speak the declaration, I am an imagination factory. And the key here is to speak, see, and feel what this means to you. Because for me, this is all about dreaming the biggest dreams. And then when I think about myself as an imagination factory, I have unlimited possibilities with my dreams, my visions, and my ability to make it happen. And one of the keys to creating an embodied state of being is remembering what needs to be remembered is the key to success. Therefore, if living in our imagination is important, then it is paramount that we create a consistency practice for how we cultivate that in ourselves every single day. And the second one is giving yourself or your team or your clients the gift of doing an imagination session. And what I call this is the imagination factory, where you set aside a specific amount of time every month where you can sit there and live in these dreams and goals and vision. And what I want to do is share my screen real quick for you. And what I've done is created what I call an imagination factory menu. And this is something that I do with my clients. And I start by saying, hey, what in the world does this mean to me? It's about brainstorming and being creative and unleashing our creativity and thinking big and dreaming boldly and envisioning our ideal future where we can collaborate and share our wildest dreams and letting our imagination soar and building the future we dream of together. And just hearing that, you can feel how we're embodying this here. And most people never create the space or the intention to make this happen. So when I'm sharing this with my clients, I'm like, listen, we're gonna join a dynamic and creative session where we live in our imagination and explore our vision and our dreams, brainstorming what we can do, unleash our creativity to think big and dream boldly. And then what I did here is I created a series of questions that we can ask ourselves. So if you're doing this on your own, you can ask one question at a time and journal this. Or if you're doing this with clients or teammates, you can say, hey guys, for the next hour, we're going to do an imagination factory session and we're going to answer some of these. So using ChatGPT, I helped it organize the way that we think about this, from unleashing creativity to thinking big to dreaming boldly to sharing wild ideas. And each one has a prompt. Hey, how can you use your unique skills to solve a problem in a way that no one has ever thought of before? Or dreaming boldly, if you could completely reinvent your business model, what would that look like? Or sharing wild ideas. How would you change your industry if there were no rules? I love this one down here. What would you do if you had an extra hour in your day? Or the last one here. What's a dream project you'd love to work on and why? This doesn't have to be hard. It all starts with setting an intention. And the reason that I call this an imagination factory menu is so that you can choose where you want to live and when you want to explore. So for me, I'm doing this with clients on a twice a month basis. So about every other 2 weeks, we're taking one of those prompts and boom, let's live in our imagination and let's dream and make this happen. Because living in your imagination is something that becomes the gift that keeps on giving when you give yourself that time. But here's the thing. Most people just don't spend enough time in their dreams. There's a book that changed my life, The Power of Consistency by Weldon Long. And he said, listen, most people look at their dreams once a year, maybe. The best in the world, we look at it at least 365 times, once a day. That's why it's so important that we embody imagination as a state of being. And then number 2, have a process for how we live in this. Remember, system scale. So if you do not have a system and process for how you're living in imagination, then you've got a hole in your boat. So I encourage you to take these 2 little things, try them in your world, and see how it helps. And if you enjoyed this video and you're on a personal growth journey to be your best, then like and subscribe. And I encourage you to drop a comment below and let me know what's coming alive for you right now when you hear this.